So this is the iPhone 11 and it's now running the latest iOS 18 beta 1. In this episode, my aim is to figure out how well does this 5-year-old iPhone perform on iOS 18. So what is up guys, Nick here helping you to master your technology. It's been about a week since the launch of iOS 18 beta 1 and I haven't yet looked at one of the older iPhones on the iOS 18 beta 1 and that's what we're going to take a look at here today. So you can see with the dark icons, this is definitely the beta, and the space to go ahead and get into the iPhone 11 into iOS 18 beta 1 was 6.17 gigabytes. So it was plenty of space. You're going to need some space to download this. And the iPhone 11 was one of those phones that came with a 64 gig option. So check your space before you go ahead and consider any of the beta downloads. Now this is the developer beta. The public will be available next month if you want to go ahead and try it out. But I have to tell you, just kind of scrolling through the home screens, scrolling through the operating system, when it first started up, it was a little bit slow because it was getting everything ready to go. But now that it's been on, I did my app updates, everything. I did this last night before I made this video. It's running pretty smooth. And I'm kind of seeing what Apple did here. They're kind of making iOS still stay pretty smooth and consistent while only bringing the more powerful AI to the newer iPhones. So that's how things are going to go. You're going to have your basic iOS, and then you're going to have your iOS plus Apple Intelligence on the newer, more premium iPhones. Well, probably the base model iPhones this year will get it as well, like the base 16s, but it's going to have to be one of the newer iPhones, 15 Pro and higher. All right, so let's see if we can get any bugs here or see how it performs within the customization. So if we hit customize, you'll see switching between light and dark mode. No real issues. Let's go ahead and tint out this with the color picker. Let's see if we'll get any lag here. No real issues if I hit that icon right there. Now, some of them don't all change right away. As you can see, they can take a second to change and then you'll get this stuff right here. But I've also seen this on the beta, even on the iPhone 15 Pro. So not super surprised by that. And you could see right there, sometimes if I go ahead and lock the screen, come back in, it will go back, but not always. So you can see there's going to be a little issue. And this is one of the reasons why you'll want to wait for a public beta or something. It can change a little bit, but you can easily fix this sometimes just by going by customize, go to dark mode, go back to the tinted mode, and sometimes it'll just fix it. Sometimes it won't. So there are going to be a little bit of issues with bugs, but generally scrolling through performance wise, it's running pretty good, but this is something that is definitely going to be a weird experience, especially if you download one of these earlier betas. Let's see if we tint it, individually instead of using the color picker, if that will change the game. And it seems like it's not doing so. So let me hit edit here and we'll go ahead and change these. So if I change that individual page, the blue worked, except for that. The blue worked okay. That's a horrible color though. It doesn't match this really well. Let's go ahead and just hit the color picker one more time. We'll go like that. We'll see if that pink-ish color works. So now we're having a little bit of issues there. So that's one area where I would probably wait. Now, if we do give it a second though, you see that it's starting to come back, but yeah, that's going to be a performance issue there with the beta. We'll hit dark mode though. All the dark mode stuff kind of works, but you see, look, that's still stuck over there. So this is one of the areas you'll see issues with beta. So like, why is this tinted when I turned it off? Some people are going to say, well, you have to go over here to this one and edit the pages individually. And that might be the case. Let's see if I go back over here and I edit this one back to automatic, dark automatic. Yeah, so I can get it back like that. But I think the whole system, I shouldn't have to do that. It should all just kind of work right away. All right, another thing, let's go ahead and check, is kind of just moving apps wherever you want. So I'm going to create a new page just for this example, but let's go ahead and grab Find My, and we'll put it right there. Let's just grab a couple more applications. How about App Store? And we'll put it right there. Let's go ahead and grab the calendar, which gave me a bug in my previous video. And we'll go ahead and put it right there. And let's go ahead and see if we could just grab these individually and put them like that. So you can see no major issues kind of with that, but I do feel like you might run into a bug here and there when moving apps around, depending on the day, the time. It's really just kind of random. It just happens randomly. But so far, so good here for this iPhone 11. Let's see how it performs with the widgets. So let's go ahead and add a widget. And we'll scroll down here, grab the battery, and go ahead and bring that in. And we'll see how the customization works. You could see a massive widget right there. Let's hit edit home screen. We'll scroll like that. No major problems. So the home screens, the general user interface seems pretty good here so far on the 11, except for the color tinting customization of the icons. Also scrolling through the new control center, not majorly horrible at all. It actually performs pretty well. And then you could see right here, if I pull these things out, pretty good. Now you can see right there, there's a little bit of chop when scrolling through these control center controls. Combination of just being a beta and 60 hertz will make that more prevalent. Generally speaking though, it seems to be pretty smooth for a phone of this age. I also noticed the iPhone 11 or these older iPhones aren't getting that nice new flashlight animation. You kind of just get that old one right there. But at least you'll still be able to customize these guys right here by holding down the wallpaper, going to customize, lock screen, and you'll be able to change these out and add different things in here. That feature still comes. All right, so let's go ahead now and check settings here. Let's go into settings. We can find that really quickly. We'll go into settings there. Kind of scrolling through. How about in the app department? See how the performance is there. So running pretty good there. No major issues. Setting a new wallpaper. Let's go ahead and add one of the new iOS 18 wallpapers. Right here, swiping between styles. So you would see sometimes the thing would lag here, but it's not happening. So pretty good. Customization, still very nice. And you could see that's pretty good. So overall, I think the general iOS 18 performance is not gonna cause major issues to older iPhones, just based on this first beta. And as it gets better, I don't see it causing major issues. So this is good news for anybody who really wants to play around and use iOS 18. It's definitely going to be really good news for those of you upgrading. All the older iPhones will run this pretty darn smooth. It's just the older ones are going to be lacking that new Siri, that new artificial intelligence called the Apple Intelligence, which is going to be something that makes some people a little bit annoyed. But definitely, even in the iPhone 11 from 2019, it's looking pretty solid. All right, so let's go ahead and see how this does by comparison to the iPhone 15 Pro in the app department. And you can see, not bad. Animations look good. Of course, the 15 Pro is going to be faster. So way newer phone. But this should give us a general idea that just running through iOS, the iPhone 11 is still decent. The oldest one getting iOS 18 is going to be the XS series. So this is not quite the oldest. You can see. There we go. There we go. Let's go into Twitter or X now. We'll go over here to profile. And you'll see. How about Groupon? iPhone 11 keeping pace with the iPhone 15 Pro. I mean, of course, it's not going to out benchmark it or anything like that, but it's keeping up decent. We'll go over here to my recent posts. And we'll go into eBay here. Not bad. Let's go into Subway Surfers. Of course, this one I don't think is ready. I just downloaded an update for this one. Game mode available for the iPhone 11. This might increase performance for older iPhones as well. So this could be a nice touch for those of you who have older iPhones. That was pretty slow right there. Even on this casual game, I've seen some stutter there for the 11. I think this is one of the areas where a newer phone will really benefit you. The Apple Intelligence coming, and of course, performance in games. If you game on your phone, you'll get major upgrades with the newer phone for sure. Let's hit confirm and hit no thanks. This one might be on a different version. I think this is a different version. Let me see. Let's hit dismiss, dismiss. Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, those look slightly different. Let me just hit play though. Just see how they run. Yeah, even it doesn't really matter this versions wise. The iPhone 11 a little choppier there onto the games. Let's go, and that's just casual games. So I think anything heavier is probably not really best suited for iPhone 11 these days. Of course, you can run it, but it's not going to be as smooth as you would like. Let's go into camera. So yeah, everything a little bit faster there on the iPhone 15 Pro, but the iPhone 11 kept pace, especially in casual use. It's still a great casual use iPhone. In terms of the heat, it's not too hot either. It does get really toasty when doing the update, but the iPhone 15 Pro also gets toasty when doing the update. I'm going to run through the RAM management only on the iPhone 11 just to kind of see if we get any delays. Again, 4 gigs of RAM. This is way behind with the RAM. That was a little choppy there still on Subway Surf. We're probably not going to get too many issues because I didn't open as many apps as I usually do. There's still that little pause. I do have to state, I'm not going to just over here and praise the iPhone 11. It does have definitely with the 60 hertz, the older CPU, it does have a choppier feel than when I first got this phone for sure. It's definitely not, as good as it was when it came out. I'm not going to be over here fronting and just making stuff up. But it's still kind of impressive that you can run the latest software and still have, even if you had this phone that long, you could still run this. So it's a decent option, not to purchase now, but to try out in the future as this becomes more stable, this iOS 18. All right, so let's test out the camera now, and you'll see pretty good. Backing it out, a little bit of lag on the ultra wide. And overall, once that initial lag goes away, it's pretty good here still. We'll go to video. Slow-mo, portrait. These camera modes are taking a second to appear. They're not super quick. Like that, like that, like that. It's just like a little bit of a slowness to appear, but not too bad. It's still a very usable phone for sure. Hit that, switching to the front-facing camera. Backing it out. Bang. So not a bad option overall. So I'm going to run the CPU benchmark for Geekbench 6, and I'll be back when this is done. Here are our final Geekbench scores, and you can see that's not too bad. 1685 on singles, 3032 on multi, while nothing close to a newer iPhone. It's actually averaging right around the same as a typical iPhone 11. Of course, most new iPhones are just absolutely wrecking the iPhone 11, but at the same time, it's still usable. You could see much better than a 10R, a 10S Max, or a 10S. If we go over to multi-core score, 3500. Now, for iPhone land, this is not even amazing, but compared to some Android phones, this is still pretty decent. It's pretty toasty here where this was doing the test on the desk, so this definitely heats up a bit more under heavier demands here in 2024. So wrapping it up here, what is the iPhone 11's conclusion on iOS 18 Beta 1? Just like other iPhones, I've found that this is kind of buggy here and there, but generally performs well. It's actually kind of usable. Honestly, it's not going to be like can't use it, but you'll run into way more crashes than you're used to on iOS. So if you like a flawless experience, I'd still wait. But it looks like the iPhone 11 is kind of running a lighter weight version of iOS, as is all of the other ones. They're kind of running this lighter weight version because none of these older iPhones are getting Apple Intelligence. So that's it for the iPhone 11. I think it's looking good for that phone right there. Definitely going to be a go later this year on iOS 18. If you want to see any of the other older iPhones on iOS 18 in a review, let me know down below in the comments. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll catch you on the next one. Nick here. Be sure to be well. And peace.